Today's review is on the classic novel Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. As the story opens up, a ship captain named Robert Walton is exploring the area around the North Pole, and he sees kind of an emaciated human out in the wilderness, and he rescues this guy, Victor Frankenstein, and when they nurse Frankenstein, Victor, back to health, he decides to tell the ship crew his life story. And this story, I'll tell you, is written, it's a framework kind of story where it is written, Robert Walton is corresponding with his sister through the mail, and it's a mail correspondence between the ship captain and his sister. That is how the story begins. Victor, talking to the crew, talks about his childhood and his coming up with a love for science. He goes to a university, and while he's at this university learning science, he comes up with a secret technique to impart life to non-living matter. And ultimately, he digs up a body and imparts life into this body, this grotesque corpse. He brings it to life. The grotesque corpse is a very intelligent creature. It's not like the old black and white movie where Frankenstein's this bumbling, idiotic creature. This is not that same story that is told in that old classic movie. The intelligent creature realizes that he's not wanted, so he goes off to live a life of his own, just watching from the woods, watching humanity, trying to learn what is humanity all about. Ultimately, after years of learning, he comes back and he decides that he wants to haunt his creator. He develops an inner hatred for Victor, and he kills one of Victor's family members. And Victor knows, he knows that his creature has come back with a vengeance. And that is the story that is told here. It's an intelligent battle between Victor and his creation. And I don't spoil anything in the story when I tell you that at one point, Victor and his creation sit down and they have an intelligent conversation full of wisdom. That is the story that takes place in Frankenstein. And I will tell you that this is not a very good story. It's a classic. I think that the reason this is a classic is because at the time there wasn't as good, literature wasn't as developed as it is today, I believe. And this was a good story for back then. It was decent, it was readable, and it still is, but this is by no means a great tale. There are some very deep ideas in this book. A lot of wisdom has went into this. There's a controversy over whether Mary Shelley really wrote this novel, because she was a young girl when she wrote this. And there are some very deep intellectual subjects that are touched upon in this book. The book, ultimately, it was a bit of a struggle for me. I did not like it that much. I gave it 2 stars out of 5. Ultimately, with this book, if you want to read it just to get it under your belt, it's a classic, that's what I did, go for it. But if you're looking for a good read, I say Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, don't read it.